Well, guys, you asked for it, and here it is. A Noobs versus Pros pitched battle. We're back on Total War Attila, and guys, let me tell you, this is going to have a lot of cav, a lot of micro, and it comes down to the wire. So, for the rules for this battle, there are 2 pros taking on 4 noob armies. Now, the noobs were allowed 2 pikes per player, 3 skirmishers per player, and chevrons were allowed for the noobs. On the pros, they were allowed 4 pikes total for the team, 8 skirmishers total for the team, and chevrons are allowed. So that's it for the rules. Pretty simple, not too complicated, but let's now jump in and check out the players and the army comps. Let's start with the pros. So first we have Tharshey leading the White Huns. Again, no surprise that they're going cav-focused factions because cav is going to be king in this situation, and he's got a pretty scary army. And also, Tharshey is a YouTuber, so be sure to check out his channel. There's a link down in the video description. Next, we have Zugashvili, and I apologize if I butchered your name. He's playing as the Tano-Kids, which again have excellent cav, very fast, very mobile Lancer cav. Now let's go and look at the noobs and see what they're bringing to the table. First, we have a King of Old leading the Jutes, Brute Pierre leading the Franks, Hans the Lion leading the Saxons, and then finally we have Baron von Belgium leading the Vandals. They actually have pretty strong armies here. I like what they're bringing, you know, a lot of diverse units, cav, archers. It looks pretty good. So guys, of course, don't forget your snacks and drinks. Sit somewhere comfortable and enjoy this epic pro versus noob pitched battle. So of course, the first thing that the pros are going to do here is probably get their cav in the fight. And sure enough, here we go. We got 6 units of skirmish cav advancing forward. I love this battlefield too. It's just a little foggy. It's open field, which of course plays to the strength of the cav. Now, looking at their just advantages and disadvantages, starting with the noobs, their advantage is obviously numbers. You can see the balance of power. It's in favor of the noobs. They have 11,000 troops against 4,288. So they've got a lot of numbers, but that also can be a disadvantage in the sense that they've got to work together. They have to stick together. If they get isolated, if they separate, they're going to get pulverized by the pro cav. And of course, this is looking at the pro side, cav is king. You cannot rely on your infantry to win this, because as soon as your infantry gets surrounded, which they will, you're gonna get crushed. So they're gonna have to rely on their cav to keep their infantry alive, and they want to avoid melee fighting at all costs until the very end or something. You know, so they can set up some hammer and anvils and stuff like that. Also, they've got elephants. They are going to play a huge role. And my goodness, the lighting of Total War Attila is so bad. I can't get over. Yeah, this side looks good, but as soon as you turn this way, it's just like so dark and bluish. Anyways, it's going to be a lot of fun to see what the pros do. I'm going to be doing a lot of slow motion, because that's the other disadvantage. The pros have to micro like crazy to be able to win this battle. But I wanted to show a unit that I don't know. It just made me laugh. So this unit right here. No, wait. This unit. No, wait. Wrong unit. Where are they? Where are they? Oh no, this is embarrassing. They must be up here. Oh, here they are. Sandstorm Lancers. Yeah, so right away, I think of the song Sandstorm. Also, I don't know. It's a goofy name. They're kind of cool. They've got like some sort of like scarf or coverage, face cover, because they're charging into sandstorms. But it just seems like it's just, I don't know. It's a cheesy name. I would love to hear the guy who came up with that. Like, what about Sandstorm Lancers? Like, oh, I like that. But anyways, they're Lancers. They're very light shock cav, so they're going to be fast moving. It's kind of a cool unit, because usually we see heavy shock cav. Let's do some normal speed, so we can actually hear the troops as they charge forward. Nothing more intimidating, and I mean this sincerely, than hearing thousands of horses charge across the battlefield. I cannot imagine how terrifying that would have been, especially being a infantry-focused army. just, you're not used to seeing so much cav, right? So I used to live, like 5 years ago, my neighbors had these just like 3 horses. That's it, 3 horses. And whenever they would occasionally run together, and you could hear it so clearly like thunder, and that was just 3 horses. Imagine, you know, thousands of them. Actually, pretty cool story. One of the horses used to be a racehorse that some like Saudi prince paid for, like millions of dollars, but it turned out the horse had asthma, so it was worthless. And our old neighbors saved the horse from, you know, being turned into glue and took it in for cheap because you know, nobody wanted it. But it was this beautiful horse, but unfortunately, you know, it couldn't race because, anyways, let's get into the battle. So the horse archers are just keeping it looks like. So think of this, like the noobs also have a lot of cav. This is a problem for the pros. This could be a major issue because they're going to be able to, if the noob is capable enough to micro decently, this is definitely going to be a problem. And you can see he's definitely worried about it. That's why he's focusing his archer fire on this cav presence. And I'm curious to see why use fire ammo? Why not use standard shot? I know fire arrows, they kind of make some fear. They create some fear for the enemy, but it usually takes longer to reload. I don't think it's as accurate. So I'm curious, maybe one of the pros can explain why using fire arrows in this situation. It could be a little different than Rome 2. I'm less of an expert for Total War Attila compared to Rome 2. And some of you might be saying, you're not even an expert for Rome 2. Okay, fair enough. All right, but I know more about Rome 2 than Attila, that's for sure. Let's see, he's trying to get him to commit and charge into this melee cav, it looks like. He's basically trying to set up a trap here. He's got this noble riders, and he's trying to get him to engage, but the noob is very cautiously, you know, being careful here. But now we've got, look at this, we've got cav coming in, Nordic horse lords. Oh my gosh, getting absolutely melted. Let's do some slow motion here. Like I said, we're going to have a lot of slow motion because there's a lot to cover with so many units running in. So we've got, okay, I need to say that. Stop saying that. Like I said, we've got some Nordic horse lords charging in and trying to catch these horse archers by surprise. The melee cav are now engaged in combat, but I think this is going to play to the advantage of the pros. They get the first wave lancers charging in now. They're trying to get a bit of a charge bonus there. So this looks like it's going to turn out pretty well for the pros, but they've got to hurry up because reinforcements are coming in. Now on this side, I don't know whose idea it was to charge in some Nordic band, just like YOLOing in, but this is a waste of troops here, and that's kind of the premise, right? The noobs are going to make mistakes, but they have such a huge advantage that it doesn't matter. They can still make these mistakes and the battle be close. But yeah, don't charge in infantry like this alone, especially against pikemen. We got the Tanukid pikes mixed in with the Kujite Shotel. It's some sort of, what is this? A heavy, medium melee infantry, and that combination is devastating. So don't charge in like that. But this is definitely popping off over here, and we're gonna see how this plays out. But a lot of cav battling it out. We've got infantry now in the mix, and now we got cav falling back, and this is the tricky part. Falling back is difficult in Total War Attila, and the horse archers doing everything they can to try to support the cav, and this is just a madhouse. Look at this. Now more cav coming in from the pros. They've got some lancers, some more cav lining up over here. So I think the noobs are making a mistake in the fact that their cav is outclassed, but thankfully we got the Saxons sending in some infantry to support their cav. That's probably going to force the pros to disengage because they don't want to be stuck fighting infantry. I don't know, they're staying in the fight. Okay, there they go, they're disengaging, but they did what they needed to do. They don't need to kill the infantry right now. They need to kill the enemy cav, because the less cav they have, the less they have to worry about flanking and hammer and anvil coming, you know, from the noobs. And the pros, you know, not having to deal with enemy cav, the pros are going to have free reign to run around. And now we've got some infantry coming over from the pros as well. the chosen warriors here. This is a medium melee infantry, and they're taking on some spears, so they should be able to handle these guys pretty effectively. Now, I want to stay close watch here. Let me just, again, slow motion this. These pitch battles can be very crazy. But yeah, this is definitely a turn in favor of the pros here. They're actually losing some cav. They're losing some melee cav, so they got to be careful, but the horse archers are still very much intact. And we've got the Tanukid cav that has really not seen any action yet. They're going in. They're going aggressive. They might be trying to hammer and anvil this infantry over here. We'll see what happens, but this, let's see, they are sending one unit. Let's go ahead and just watch this charge. Full speed. No, not really a charge. I don't know if he meant to go in there because their lances were not down, guys. They were not down, so they didn't really get a good charge there, but I guess they're just trying to keep them at bay. Look at all the cav now fighting over here. On this side, big infantry clash in the center. We got archers moving up. This is good. You want to try to use skirmishers to soften up those pikes. Let's do slow motion again because, wow, this is going nuts. We've got an army flanking over. This is good. This is all very good for the noobs. They're using their numbers. They're trying to stretch out the pros because they have way less troops. But seeing that they're really putting pressure on them, I can imagine that these elephants are they're gonna charge in. They're gonna go in and try to keep the one of these armies at bay, even for just a few minutes, get some kills. But right now, they're piecemealing, and this is what I'm talking about. I think it was a mistake for one of the noobs to try to handle the cav all by himself. He should have just consolidated. That's what you got to do when you have more numbers. Consolidate your numbers and attack together, and it's very difficult for the pros to handle that situation. But we do have some pikes here that are starting to break. I think the archer fire's coming in on these guys. And just... Oh, we got a death of a general. Oh, man. Over here, the cav play, a general is gone, and that is going to create chaos for the army. This is the Saxon army. It's just going to create madness, and their morale is going to plummet with the loss of their general. This cav unit's going to flank around, and they are winning the cav engagement. That is huge. Honestly, when I saw all of that cav the noobs had, I thought, there's no way. There's no way they're going to handle all of that cav. But unfortunately, the noobs, what I would have done if I was the noobs, now, of course, I'm not a noob per se, so, you know, keep in mind these are beginner players, so they're going to make mistakes. But with all their cav, they probably should have dispersed them and just either use them defensively or try to sneak a couple units here and there to get behind some enemy forces. But this is turning into a mosh pit, but it's being cleaned up by the pros cav. Now we've got the elephants making a move here. They see a weakness in their line, and they're going to reinforce it with their monster elephants. Look at them go. Bounce power. Let's see. Look at the kills now. It's not showing. That's disappointing, but the bounce of power is still about the same, but I'm sure there's a better difference in kills now. And here we go. Elephants going in, and they're going straight for the archers. Straight for the archers because they are the biggest threat. Or no, they're going for the infantry. Oh, good job by the noobs. Using fire ammo. Trying to get these guys to run amok. Guys, I'm telling you, whenever you see elephants, fire ammo. Ooh, and now the javies. Oh, no, that is not good. The elephants. Oh, no. They are not getting as many kills as I'm sure. Wow, they plummeted. They both got over 100 kills, but for elephants, that's not terrible, but it's not good. You want to try to get at least 200 plus with these elephants. So unfortunately, the elephant plan just does not go well, and it backfires. But here comes the cav to go clean up where the elephants couldn't, and they're going to run down these skirmishers. I think they should have done this sooner. They should have gotten their cav in there to protect the elephants and keep the skirmish infantry at bay. See, they should have done this way sooner, then moved in the elephants. But who knows? Maybe the elephants kind of open this up for the cav. So, you know, you can't assume too much. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. Okay, now we can see the numbers. Still a huge advantage. Let's go back to slow motion here and check out what's going on, because there's a lot. We've got 1,796 against 4,365. So the numbers are getting a little bit better. This is definitely going to drastically change the numbers when he cleans up all these skirmish units. He's got some pikes here that could be Nordic pikemen that could be a bit dangerous, but these, you never want your pikes isolated like this. You never want them isolated, because they're going to be just crushed. They're going to be flanked and attacked, and they can't defend themselves, especially against so much cav. See, like this right here. The pikes are fighting some infantry. Now we got cav going in, and they're just gonna crush. They're just gonna crush. And then back over this way, more infantry's charging in. Yeah, they really got to get their infantry in the fight and just charge, because here's the problem, guys. They're doing pretty good. They're doing pretty good in the center. We've got some cav coming in, doing some damage to the back lines. We've got pikes moving in from the enemy infantry. So they're doing a good job, but this is a big question mark right here for the noobs. They've got to deal with all this cav. But if this army can quickly push in and start doing some damage, it's going to come down to just cav, I think. I'm looking at this army, what's left of it. It's all going to come down to cav, and we got to see if the noobs have enough to deal with this cav, because look at the kills on these units. 230 kills. This one over here, 155. They're racking up kills, chasing down the skirmishers. And this has just been, I'm sure the pros are just like, they're just clenching their butts, okay, trying to micro and just keep up with everything. We got cav making a wide flank over on this side. We got infantry pouring in. Yeah, just get in there. Just get in there, noobs. Send your troops in there. Flank around. Destroy it. That's the first win. That's the first thing they need to do. Defeat the infantry. Remove the infantry from the game. But smart from the pros to reorganize. They're going to try to get these pikes out of here, it looks like, and regroup with the cav. They want to try to keep some infantry alive so they can set up some sort of hammer and anvil. But the balance of power is kind of shifting in favor of the pros, guys. I mean, it's at this point it's looking pretty tough. All right, here comes a little bit of a flanking charge by these Mavius Chosen. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a light shock cav. Chosen warriors going in, trying to support their infantry. Yeah, so this is, man, I really hope the noobs, I hope they just stick together. I hope that they're watching. This is all they have to do. They have to move together, watch the flanks, try to have some rear units, like rear guard, so like no cav can sneak up on them and stuff. It does look like, and this is a fitting name for this strategy. It does look like they're forming a noob box, a noob square, which is basically they take all their infantry and form a square, and it makes it more difficult for the cav to get some charges. He's using some first wave lancers here to get some little charges on these Germanic spearmen. Get these spearmen back. What are they doing? They're just sitting there, just getting charged on the flank. Why? Why? This unit has 667 kills. Now it's 671. That is insane. They're just racking up kills, charging into these spearmen. All right, now cav's coming around the flank on this side. And yeah, so they're just going to ride around and look for weaknesses in their army. And the noobs are doing pretty good, but you gotta, this is tough. Honestly, this is tough. What do you do as a noob here? Well, I think what you have to do, and the balance of power is pretty even actually, and they have over more than double the troops, but the thing is, it's most of the troops of the pros are cav, and that's going to be tough to deal with because they're so fast moving, and you only have infantry. Why is this archer unit way out of position? Oh my gosh, this tiny little first wave lancer unit is just eaten. They're just feasting on the foes. But yeah, they're gonna retreat the archers, thank goodness, because archers is the archers that they have here are a counter to the enemy cav. When they get close, they can shoot at them, you know, or let loose some arrows at them and just keep them at bay. But they've got to all... Is this... It's hard to tell, but how many players is this? Is this one army? Or is this multiple player? Oh. See? Like, that was a good move right there. That was a good move on the Nordic pikemen. Trying to get them by surprise there. But, oh, and they're coming back for more. Bro, you can't put your guard down. But let's see how many casualties he loses here for this cav. He's losing a decent amount. Oh. Yeah, he just charged these pikes as well. See, that's the other thing is the noobs. You can't get tunnel vision. As soon as one cav unit charges in, expect another cav unit to charge in. Because he's trying to disrupt their micro. He's trying to make this difficult to contain. And my goodness. And here's the thing. The cav is going to kill a ton of units. But it's a matter of, do you have more units than they can kill? That's how the noobs are going to win this one. Because every time a cav unit charges in, it loses troops, right? So, and they broke some pikes, but they lost 2 units of cav there. But they don't have to worry about pikemen anymore. Pikemen is the biggest threat to this all-cav army. Here's another cav unit breaking. Look at that. Look at that. So they're in a tricky situation because I don't know if they have enough cav to win this. I think there's too much infantry for the noobs. I think the noobs, you know, Team Noobs, they've been in a little bit of a drought. They haven't won in these scenarios for a little while, so let's see if they can pull it off this time. But they got a tough challenge ahead of the Sandstorm Lancers. The Sandstorm Lancers. Yeah. They're trying to go in and get some kills. And that's the thing. They got to do hit and run, hit and run. They can't stay prolonged melee with this cav. So charge in and then get out of there. Get out. Get out. Run. Get out. They're not doing it. Here comes another cav unit. These are the horse archers. There they go. Now they're retreating. I just think you just got to, like, hit them and go. Go break this unit here. Yeah. What is this unit doing outside the formation? Crazy. There's a nice little flanking charge. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now we got cav on this side. We got some units breaking. Come on. Come on. They're trying to hold on here. They're trying to hold on. Here comes another charge. Nope. Nope. Just exchanging some more. Oh, no. Just kidding. They tricked them. Nice. Very nice. Elite Nordic warriors. Come on, guys. They're going to send in reinforcements, but it's too late. See, you got to have your units closer by. You got to have your secondary lines ready to move in. That's a big win if they can keep doing that. And then what is this? What the heck, noobs? You can't do this. You can't let infantry sneak through your formation like that. Look at, they got infantry and reserve charging in. But yeah, sure enough, their backs are turned, and here comes the cav. Here comes the cav. Oh. Devastating. Devastating. They're breaking. Oh my gosh. And then we got pikes, though. These pikes are going to be a problem for this formation. Man, this is going to come down to the wire. We're down to 6 minutes, and I don't know. I think the pros got this. I'm just looking at how they're handling this situation. Yeah, they just destroyed an entire unit. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm looking at the pros, and I'm seeing that they're doing a lot of damage here. So, let's see. What are we looking at? 2,000 versus 900. Actually, I don't know. I mean, it just depends on the morale of this army. They're keeping the general alive. They got the chieftain here alive. That's good. I think, is this? No, the elite Nordic warriors. Come on, you're elites. You can't be breaking. You fight to the death. But they formed a hexagon here. The Noob Circle, it should be called. Oh, that was a bad charge right there. What is this? That was not good. That was a little clumsy from the pros. Here comes another charge. Mavia's chosen So, yeah, it's all going to come down to shock cav. Nice little move there of the infantry. I like that he's not charging into these pikes. That's good. Over here, we got to charge into archers, but the archers don't have any ammo. But still, you don't want to lose units like this. You know, because losing a lot, having a lot of casualties can cause fear amongst the ranks, and you want to try to keep as many units alive. But now, this is an opening in their lines, and now Cav has made it through, and they're gonna crush. Yeah, they're oof. They got some axes here, Nordic axe warriors. They should do a decent amount of damage to this Cav once they're stuck in combat. Oh yeah, come on. Oh yeah, those big old axes can cut down these horses. So good on them. Good on them. And then over here, nice charge by the general. That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. The bounce of power, let's see. 700. Okay, there's a difference of 1,000 men. But again, it's skewed because Cav is, you know, they're big units. Not a lot of units, but they're big and they're dangerous. And there we go. They're trying to clean up this Cav as well. Every time they charge in, they're chipping away at this Cav. But at the same time, they're losing a lot of infantry. And I like that this infantry's trying to flank around here and get the pikes. Oh, the men are losing hope. Look at that. This is, ooh, the horse archers, you know, they're made for archery. They're not going to do amazing in these charges. So this is promising for the noobs to try to take these guys out. The white Huns here. Take him out. We're down to the 3 minutes of this battle, guys. Look at this. Look at the noobs go. They have the general kind of surrounded here. They're dealing with the pikes as we speak. Take out those pikes. Great. And they're keeping the other pro player at bay over here. Look at them. They're doing a good job. I think it's just one player, honestly, at this point. It's the... Is this the Saxon player? I think this is the Saxon player. Well, anyways. Yeah, good job here. Oh, I think the noobs got it. I don't know. It's still close, guys. We could get a chain route here. Unfortunately, they got... Okay, they're breaking the pikemen. They don't have to worry about the pikemen. We got a general charging in. A bodyguard here with 260 kills. They should clean up these spears. They are. Okay, consolidate. Consolidate your forces. Group up. Group up. They've defeated pretty much the White Huns. The White Huns are out of the game. So they've got 2 units still, but they're horse archers. They're not a major threat. The biggest threat is going to be the Tano-kids with their shock cav.
The whole unit.
Just stick together, man. Look at them. Just be an angry mob. Just be an angry mob. And this is smart. Going for units that are out of position. Oh, man, this is coming down to the wire. Look at this. 400. It's still double. So 400 against 800. The pros are creeping up. They're creeping up in kills. We're down to 2 minutes. Oh, no. They're going all in. They're going all in. This is it. They're going for a surround mass break. Are they going to pull it off? Are they going to be able to pull it off? The general, as long as this general stays alive, there's hope that the noobs can win. There's hope. There's hope. Oh, no, the bounce of power is not looking good. It's not looking good. Oh, they're losing. Look at them lose numbers there. Oh, no. The noob general, the chieftain, needs to stay alive. The bounce of power is in favor of the pros, though, and the numbers are about even. But again, all it takes is... when you're at this point of the battle, when it's down to such few troops... When it's down to such few troops, all it takes is one good swing of the sword and... Oh, men are wavering. Come on. I don't think they're going to do it. No, the bounce of power. No, it's... The noobs, man. One of these days. One of these days. They're going to pull this off. But regardless, what a... Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Am I calling it too quick? No, I don't think so. I think This general, he has 107 kills. Desperate. Oh, yeah, the general's breaking. That's over. That's game. And they're going to win with 230 men left. So they now outnumber the noobs for the first time ever. And there you go. That's a victory for the pros. Insanely close. Insanely close. Yeah, the noobs did great there. I think, you know, in this battle, it's hard to do pros versus noobs pitch battles because there's less, like, it's really nice having a siege to defend. So, you know, again, extremely challenging for the pros because, you know, they have to micro like crazy. And when I saw those elephants fall and quickly be killed, I honestly thought, hey, there's a really good chance that the noobs are going to win this. But they were so close. It was a valiant fight from both sides. Let's end the replay. Look at the kills here on some of these units. Yeah, it's all cav. I mean, cav is so devastating for in Attila. Much more dangerous in Attila compared to Rome 2. GG to Tharshey and his team. They fought very well, but also the Saxons. Yeah, sorry. I was calling the Franks the Saxons early on in the battle. My bad. But what's the difference? You know, come on. They're pretty similar. But anyways, GG to all the players. You can see the cav here, unfortunately, didn't rack up enough kills. I like that he went with the Franks. He went with a ton of cav. That's nice. I'm curious, though, what would happen if he just brought more infantry? Do you think he would have won if he just brought more infantry and less cav? Tough to say. But there's the Vandals, and then we've got the Jutes here. So that was a lot of fun, guys. If you want to see more pros versus noobs pitch battles, let me know in the comments below because they are fun. They're very different, a little faster paced. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time on the battlefield.